In our headlines tonight, President Museveni reshuffled RDC, drops Fred Bamwine as he transfers Hudu Hussein to Yumbe. NRM SEC endorses Anita Among for Speaker race. Cattle rustlers in Moroto killed geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers. And the clergy thronged the last speaker's home in Omoro, praising him for building churches.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN. Brought to you by.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Good evening once again and welcome to UBC News Tonight on this 23rd day of March 2022. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. Now, of course, news just in, Anita Among has been endorsed as for the speakership race. Now, we will be bringing you that story later on in the bulletin. Now, we'll start off with our first headlining story this evening. President Museveni has reshuffled resident district commissioners and their deputies. According to the reshuffle, the controversy in Kampala, RCC Hudu Hussein has been sent to Yumbe district. He was replaced by Amina Lukanga. His transfer comes a few days after he ordered street preachers to vacate the streets of Kampala in 1 week. Now, according to the list, MP Imbaza Hashaka Samuel has been transferred to Mbale, from Mbale to Bukwo. Cheyune Senyonjo has been transferred from Caleb Tiong to Nabila Tuk, among other notable transfers. Meanwhile, President Museveni in the transfers dropped Nakaseke District RDC Fred Bamwine. President Museveni effected the transfers and appointments of the RDCs and their deputies in accordance to Article 99. Section 1 and Article 203, Section 1 of the Constitution of Uganda. All right, now the UPDF in Moroto district are on hunt for Turkana cattle rustlers in Moroto, Karamoja sub-region, accusing them of having shot dead 3 geologists from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development and 2 UPDF soldiers. Now, the Army spokesperson, Brigadier Felix Kulaije, has confirmed the attacks and assured the people of Karamoja sub-region that the culprit will be dealt with by the security forces in the region. Now, the incident happened on Monday at Kubebe in Lotisan sub-county, Moroto district.
Government carried out the disarmament exercise in Karamoja between 2002 and 2010. More than 40,000 illegal arms were recovered from Karmajongs, bringing to an end the armed conflict. Karmajongs have enjoyed a decade of peace after the UPDF disarmed gun-wielding rustlers. For more than 10 years, following the disarmament program, there has been peace and progress in the Karamoja sub-region.
As Ugandans know, we did the disarmament exercise in the early 2000, and by 2009, we had pacified Karamoja, and all services were back, were introduced in the region.
But a fresh disarmament campaign launched by the Army in July 2021, known as Usalama Wawote, has far failed to stem the violence.
Strategy of zonal forces that block the cattle rustlers once you get the intelligence. Then you have the mobile forces that pursue the thieves once they have stolen. And over 600 heads of cattle have been recovered because of these operations. And about 15 warriors have been charged in the court martial for armed robbery, as we call it, and for being found with illegal guns.
The Turkana, whose home villages are on the Kenyan side of the border, they are the prime threat to the communities in Karamoja sub-region. Brigadier General Felix Kulaije said the situation has been worsened by the Turkana rustlers from Kenya utilizing the porous border during dry season.
People to bring guns on their own, and those who bring guns on their own are not prosecuted. Those, however, caught with the guns, they face the court martial. That's the strategy we are doing, and it's paying off.
The joint security forces are committed in ensuring that the perpetrators are brought to book and 2 guns in the hands of the Turkana warriors will be recovered.
I've already been in touch with the Turkana, who have assured us the guns will be returned. But 2, we want to ensure that when the Turkanas come this side to graze their cattle, they don't come with guns as it's been discovered.
Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Now, for story just in, Anita Among has been endorsed as the NRM flag bearer for the speakership race. So we'll be giving you those details and much more in this bulletin, later on in the bulletin. Now moving on, East African security forces are meeting in the Republic of Uganda to identify solutions to the prevailing security challenges of the region. The deputy spokesperson, Uganda People's Defense Forces, Ronald Kakuenza, says top on the agenda is addressing terrorism, smuggling and disaster management. The main planning conference, as it is dubbed, is meant to prepare for an upcoming bigger conference scheduled to take place in Uganda in May 2022.
During our deliberations, I urge you, delegates, to consider the vision of our East African community leaders in relation to the final integration of the East African region as a pivot to achieving the sustainable peace and security in our community. Keynote is that the objective of the exercise is to augment the extent of interoperability of the East African partner states, armed forces, the police, the civilian component in responding to regional complex security challenges.
The field training exercise, which will happen in Uganda, will attract 1,533 participants from the military, police, prisons, immigration, and other civilian components. The purpose is to test and exercise personnel on interoperability and to be able to respond to complex security challenges within our countries. This exercise happens every 2 years. It has been happening since 2005 on a rotational basis among all the East African Community partner states. That is Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and the Republic of South Sudan. The participants are exercised on 4 main themes, including peace support operations, counter-terrorism, counter-piracy, and disaster management.
Okay, I wish you well. Okay, I wish you well. Okay.
All right, now the 8th meeting of the 4th Central Executive Committee of the National Resistance Movement Party, sitting in emergency session at Entebbe today, the 23rd of March 2022, hereby resolves as follows. 1. To place on record our distinct recognition and warm acknowledgement of the sterling contribution of Right Honourable Jacob Lokori Oulanyah, rest in peace, Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, to the vigorous advancement of the programs of the national resistance movement. 2. To clarify, to clearly recognize the vibrant functioning and meticulous implementation of legislative agenda of the Parliament of Uganda under the clear watch of the Right Honourable Oulanyah. 3. To hold out his life and exemplary leadership as an example worth emulating by the entire membership of the NRM and all Ugandan patriots. 4. Pursuant to the provisions of Article 13(3)(a) and 1 INJ of the NRM Constitution and Rule 9, Section 3 of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus Rules of Procedure 2014, the Central Executive Committee resolves as follows: that the Central Executive Committee, having considered the 12 names of the members who expressed interest for election to the position of Speaker of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, and having noted the withdrawal of the candidature of Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and that having interacted with all the candidates except Honorable Acheng Opendi Sarah, who did not attend the interaction. SEC having noted that the NRM party has established a culture and practice of elevating the Deputy Speaker to the position of Speaker, even where there has not been any disruption, and now even more when there is an emergency, hereby recommends to the NRM Parliamentary Caucus the Right Honourable Among Anita Annette for endorsement as NRM candidate for the position of Speaker of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, dated at Entebbe this 23rd day of March 2022.
Soon after
Condolence from me, from Parliament of Uganda.
That the Central Executive Committee, having considered the 12 names of members who expressed interest for election to the position of Speaker of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, and having noted the withdrawal of the candidature of Honorable Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, and that having interacted with all candidates except Honorable Acheng Opendi Sarah, who did not attend the interaction, hereby recommend to the NRM Parliamentary Caucus the Right Honorable Among Anita Annette for endorsement as NRM candidate for the position of Speaker of the 11th Parliament of Uganda.
Now, the joint security forces of UPDF and police in Karmajong sub-region are investigating circumstances under which 3 geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers were shot dead by suspected armed Karmajong Warriors in Lokisile, Rupa sub-county, Moroto district. The 3rd Division Commander Brigadier General Joseph Balikudembe says the geologists who were murdered in the wee hours of Tuesday were a mineral mapping exercise.
Karmajong region is facing insecurity that is characterized by commercialized raids, road ambushes, house breaks and killings, despite the successful disarmament exercise and peace attained in the 2000s. 2021, UPDF launched another phase of disarmament dubbed Operation Usalama Kwa Wote, aimed at disarming locals from illegal guns. There is, however, constant attacks and low recoveries of stolen animals. The 3rd Division Commander, Brigadier General Joseph Balikudembe, says they have been left alone as security in the operation. Some leaders blame security for failing to deploy in warriors' crossing points. However, UPDF says they have insufficient human resource.
Security forces had largely remained lone players in managing the disarmament process.
The Minister for Defense, Vincent Bamulanga Chisempija, promised that more soldiers are to be added by April next month.
Security is going to be closer to the people. The numbers are going to be beefed up until when you are satisfied that we have enough forces, then therefore our people will be secure enough to give information.
Meanwhile, joint security forces of UPDF and police are investigating circumstances under which 5 people were killed by the suspected Karmajong Warriors.
That these are geological surveyor and they are picking samples of the minerals. The warriors asked the interpreter, why are these people coming for minerals? This is our place. This is our place. What do they come to do here? As the team got scared because of the questions and exchange with the interpreters, our soldiers tried to move them away and leave the exchange to continue, but immediately they were shot.
He attributes the incident to hatred and ignorance by the warriors.
Hatred and ignorance.
They took all what they had on them, the telephones, the GPS, and all the personal belongings on them.
Moroto District RDC Michael Mokolishi condemned the act, saying it will scare away the investors.
Armed groups, armed individuals, we shan't develop our sub-region. We shall remain behind. The minerals is one of the way to develop the sub-region, this district. But now when they start killing the professionals who are coming, they scare them, they scare the investors, they will not come.
Leaders have called for collective efforts to end insecurity.
From LOC 1, LOC 2, LOC 3, LOC 5, members of parliament, that a blame game is not a solution. Let's join hands, let's have a teamwork so that we get rid of this wrongdoers.
There is an issue. These elders, these leaders could go to the elders. From the elders, then they can move and give instructions. Elders can summon the youth.
The deceased were 3 geologists, Musimeza Edina from Makerere University, Oreny Charles and Chigwe Richard, who were contracted by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to do mineral sampling, and the 2 UPDF soldiers, Lieutenant John Bosco Obwana and Private Jimmy Otim Oti. I'm Nafka Farida and Maureen Yega.
Religious leaders of all sects in northern Uganda have this Wednesday visited the home of the fallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Balogna, to condole with the family, led by the Archbishop of Gulu, Baptist Odama, and Bishop of Diocese of Lango, Alfred Olwa. The men of God say the fallen Speaker played a key role in building unity among the people of northern Uganda. Philip Aguta with more.
At Ajuri village, Lalogi sub-county in Omoro district, where the fallen Speaker of Parliament will be buried, preparations are in advanced stages. Tents have been erected and the youth are clearing the bush and compound to expand the space for the mourners. Mourners have already started congregating at the home of the fallen Speaker, and prominent among them are the religious leaders in the whole of northern Uganda. The Anglican Bishop's team was led by Professor Alfred Olwa, Bishop of the Diocese of Lango, and they arrived in the mid-morning.
It is so significant that we come and bring the word of hope, which is the word of God, in a situation like this. First of all, as a nation, death has robbed us of a father, of a leader, of a preacher. And we therefore need to hear God, especially at a time as this.
After a short prayer, the bishop said Olanya played a crucial role in building unity among the people of northern Uganda.
Both of us have always looked at, and namely the unity of the greater north, from Karamoja to Arua, the unity of our people, because unity is strength. We want to mobilize young people to come together and to work and be productive to the nation. This is something which is very close to the heart of Jacob.
In the afternoon hours, another team of religious leaders under their organization, Acholi Religious Leaders for Peace Initiative, comprising all denominations, also arrived. This time led by the Archbishop of Gulu, but also as chairman for Acholi Religious Leaders for Peace Initiative, John Baptist Odama.
So we have come to bring hope, to bring courage, to show our unity with him and with all the people, mourners who are here. And we have come also to pray for the repose of the soul of the deceased.
Odama says the dead speaker Olanya contributed a lot towards church development.
Here locally, he has done something very wonderful. There are the two parties, or the two groups of believers here, Church of Uganda and the Catholics. Each of them has a chapel here. He provided for the roof for all of them. He did not make a distinction. He said, no, these are people of God. You promote the belief in God, whether in that one or in this one.
Government will announce the date for the burial of the fallen Speaker of Parliament after a new one is elected on Friday. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Omoro.
Thank you, Philip Aguta. People's Progressive Party has joined other political parties to mourn the demise of the fallen son of Acholi, the late Jacob Lokori Olanya, who passed on in Seattle, America, where he had gone for medication. Speaking to the press at the party offices in Bukoto, they vowed to vote for the opposition members for speakership and the deputies' posts.
Sunday, 20th March 2022. Ugandans were shocked by the sad news of the passing on of the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Lokori Olanya, in Seattle, after the Fountain of Honor confirmed his untimely death via his Twitter handle.
World, I wept with my depth heart. I pray that everybody in Uganda now, those ones who are ready to condone with us, please condone with us.
Since the president's message, Ugandans have been sending in their endless condolences to the family of the late Olanya. People's Progressive Party, represented by Sadamo Gaira, the acting national chairperson, and the Aru constituency member of parliament, Santa Okot, have mourned the demise of Olanya.
We want to send our sincere condolence to the family members, to Parliament of Uganda, and Government of Uganda.
At a press briefing at their offices in Bukoto, Santa Okot, also Shadow Minister for Regional Affairs, who also hails from Omoro village, recalls her first meeting with the late Olanya in the 7th Parliament.
I got to know Honorable Jacob Olanya about 2001 when we joined Parliament, the 7th Parliament together. That was the time when Northern Uganda was under insurgency by the Lord Resistance Army.
Okoti wants government to come up with a report about the death of Olanya, following his father's expression of skepticism over his son's cause of death.
A sad history to ask the people of Acholi and in Northern Uganda, like to ask the government of Uganda, this time round, to come out clearly, to explain to the world, to explain to the Acholi people, to explain to the country, Uganda, what exactly happened.
Sadamo Gaira, the acting party's national chairperson, says they are to rally behind the opposition members who will stand for speakership and the deputy speakership posts.
Ndaba nti eno mu opposition tulina abantu abalina obusobozi ku kifo ky'obwa speaker ne deputy okusinga abali mu NRM. So ku mulundi guno PPP position yayo tujja kulonda muntu opposition gwenebesazeewo ku bifo byombi.
However, these don't concur with the Constitution Act of Article 82 that states that no work should be conducted in the August House in the absence of the Speaker. Okot, who also doubles as the mother-in-law of the late Olanya, wants Olanya's family to take care of her grandchildren, and he asked the government to support all the orphans.
Our tradition, even if there is divorce, once you have children in that family, in that clan, you remain a mother or you remain a father. But I also would like to propose that if government would think twice, would really look into the matter of helping the children of Jacob, has children because they are of different women.
It is allegedly assumed that Acholi people have been cautioned not to sing for the late Olanya. Okot, however, had no sweet words for those blocking them, as this is a mode of mourning in the Acholi culture.
We, under our traditional, we mourn by singing. That is how we mourn our people. We should allow our boys, our men, and our women to sing, to mourn Honorable Jacob Olanya.
Ivan Juko, Flower Semper, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we'll return with much more stories. Don't move an inch.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Kopa shops.
Government of Uganda, through the Uganda Bureau of Statistics (UBOS), is undertaking nationwide census mapping aimed at providing an up-to-date list of enumeration areas and administrative units in the country ahead of the National Population and Housing Census of 2023. The UBOS field teams will be using Global Positioning Systems (GPS) for mapping all administrative infrastructure, households and other facilities such as hotels, schools, hospitals and water sources to facilitate production of the updated LC1, parish, sub-county and district area maps showing all the physical features and social amenities. The census mapping will further aid development of a countrywide data for information systems as a pillar for effective implementation of the parish development model. This is to appeal to the entire government leadership, all stakeholders and the general public to support the field teams that will be deployed across the country. Announced by Dr. Chris Ndatira Muchiza, the Executive Director and Chief Statistician. For further clarifications, please contact the Office of the Executive Director on 0755 342 128.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
My name is Isabella Birungi Byarugaba, and I'm the co-founder for City Ambulance and City Medicals. The main activity we are doing for Total Energies is provision of medical support, ambulance services, occupational health assessment services for all contractors going to the camps or on any of their sites. We also do COVID testing. We have experienced a lot of growth, exposure and networking, the ability to meet different clients who are working in these fields, but also giving us the ability to diversify our scope in regard to the service that is offered and reinvent the kind of service that we offer. Working with Total Energies requires a company that has the high level of health and safety standard, which really was a good value add to us.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
Welcome back from that break. Now in more news, Shema South County Member of Parliament Elijah Dickens Musimeza has joined the race for those seeking to replace Jacob Balogna. Addressing the media this afternoon in Kampala, Musimeza, who is currently on an independent ticket in Parliament, says he is fit for the job.
Honorable members, being a speaker, you should have experience.
This is Olanya's term.
it must come to the end. It's not about its term.
Shema South County Legislator Professor Elijah Dickens Musimeza has joined the race for the speakership post in the 11th Parliament.
I'm expressing my interest to stand on the position of the Speaker for the 11th Parliament. The Clerked Parliament has issued a circular. It's called a notice that we shall have a special sitting of Parliament on Friday to elect a Speaker. And there is no provision of expressing interest. It is a day of election, it is a day of campaign.
Musimeza, just like others, feels he is the best man for the job.
I believe I have the capacity.
NRM Government Chief Whip Thomas Tayebwa has asked legislators from Acholi sub-region to stop ring-fencing the Speaker's position. This follows threats issued by legislators from the north to boycott any participation in the speakership election should one of their own miss out in the race to replace the late Speaker Balogna.
NRM Government Chief Whip Thomas Tayebwa has said that there shouldn't be any position ring-fenced for any tribe in this country. He was responding to legislators from the Acholi sub-region that were demanding for position of the Speaker.
I didn't hear any quarrel from other regions when the head of parliament was from Acholi, when the head of the judiciary was from Acholi, when the Secretary General of the party was from Acholi. I didn't hear any grumbling from any of the regions. So really this country has gone beyond that. I urge colleagues, if your argument is that someone should be voted because he's from Northern Uganda, go to hell.
These legislators, including those from Lango, Acholi and West Nile, vote not to participate in speakership elections slated for Friday if one of their own is not chosen to succeed Balogna.
Balogna was not just a northerner. Balogna was a nationalist. I think he would curse anyone. He would curse anyone who would say ring-fence this position for Northern Uganda. The biggest support the Right Honourable Jacob Balogna got was not from Northern Uganda. It was from other regions. I've seen people who are even shedding crocodile tears.
Tayebwa also said that there is need to amend Article 82 of the Constitution, which stipulates that an immediate election should be conducted as soon as the incumbent Speaker dies.
I think from here we have to sit and as a government and an institution, we amend this law because it's making us look bad somewhere, somehow. And yet we must comply with the provisions of the Constitution. There's no way we can bring here a speaker. The law requires us that we must pay tribute as a parliament. So we are tied. So I just wanted to first clarify on that Ugandans who think we are very unfair, it's the law.
Chief Whip was responding to the public outcry where some Ugandans were condemning the manner in which burial arrangements of the deceased are handled. Shamim Naiga, Gloria Gutabenji, UBC News.
The Greater North Local Government Council is demanding to have a special joint council sitting to pay tribute to the fallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Balogna. The demand has been revealed by the Speaker, Gulu City Council, Joyce Alima. She says the fallen Speaker contributed a lot not only to Acholi sub-region but the entire country, and it is only good to reward him by a special council sitting.
So as Gulu, as local leaders of Acholi sub-region, we had a meeting with the top leadership of Gulu, of Acholi sub-region, the LC5 chairpersons and the city mayor. And in the meeting, they resolved that as Acholi, as Northern Uganda, we should have a joint full council meeting. And right now, as I'm talking, we are still waiting for confirmation from West Nile sub-region. For now, we have already confirmed their attendance. They accepted to be part of the council. And we're only waiting for West Nile to respond. But for the Greater Choli, we will be having member of all the councillors from the district council and the city, but from other regions like Lao and West Nile, we shall only be having representative. And when I say representative, we shall be having the members of the executive and office of the speaker to be part of our joint council meeting. This is still our local arrangement. We are still seeking for permission from the government if they can give us that slot so that we pay last respect to our brother, Honorable Jacob Balogna. The contribution of Balogna, we cannot just talk about it. Because if we are just to talk about it, right now we would not be struggling to look for the Speaker of Parliament. Balogna has done a lot of things to people of Acholi, to the young generation of Acholi, to people of Uganda, even to Parliament of Uganda. So his contribution, only one person cannot talk about it, because he was a person who had the potential, who had the ability to lead, not in pretense, but he was leading the nation with all his heart. Yeah, this is what I can say about Balogna, and I believe if he's hearing, he would also understand that what I'm saying is the truth about him.
Now, more government officials, MPs, diplomats and members of the general public continue to flock Parliament today to sign the condolence book in honor of the late Speaker Jacob Balogna. These, among others, are the Archbishop of the Archdiocese, the Orthodox Church, His Eminence, Metropolitan Lauryn Masika, the U.S. Ambassador Natalie E. Brown, and the Ambassador of the British High Commission, Kate Airy, and many others.
On the life of the politics of this country. So it is important to note that besides being a lawyer by profession, he was also a man of God and a dynamic politician. Combining the three of these, what I could call gifts, made him to be a man who had a feeling, who could feel the pain of others.
One person as a person of integrity, high integrity, is a person who has been a very good timekeeper, who loved his job and was particular about his job, but again conducted his business with humor. He would make everybody at ease in the house.
Something important in the politics of our nation. That means it is actually a great loss for our nation. May God rest his soul in peace.
Now, following the endorsement of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, as the NRM flag bearer for the speakership, the position of Deputy Speaker will only fall vacant if she is elected Speaker. The Vice Chairman of the NRM Western Region, Dr. Chris Badiomonsi, says the NRM Central Executive Committee did not discuss the position of the Deputy Speaker.
Expressed interest. Thank you very much. The Central Executive Committee sat today in Entebbe to consider the members of Parliament of NRM who expressed interest to run for position of Speaker. 13 members had expressed interest, but one pulled out. That is the Honorable Jen Cheng, Minister of Health, and they remained 12. One didn't appear today. Honorable Opendi Sarah, she didn't appear in person, so there remained 11 members of Parliament, and we discussed their expression of interest. They appeared before the Central Executive Committee. We had an exhaustive discussion, and at the end of the day, we said let's keep the precedent of elevating the Deputy Speaker to full Speaker once the office of Speaker is vacant. It has been a tradition in our Parliament that the Speakers serve like for 2 terms, Then at the third term, we elevate the deputy speaker to speaker. That has been the tradition which we have kept, and therefore SEC took a decision to approve Right Honorable Anita Mong to become our candidate for position of speaker. And once we have voted on Friday, we hope tomorrow the caucus will approve her, and then voting in the parliament shall be on Friday. If parliament votes her, then the position of deputy speaker will have fallen vacant, and then we shall start a new process of getting a deputy speaker, which will follow the same trend.
So for today, you only discussed the position of the speaker, you did not tackle the deputy speaker?
No, it is only the position of the speaker which was vacant. So it's the only one we discussed. Once the one of deputy speaker falls vacant, that is if Anita Mong is elected on Friday in the parliament, then we shall start a new process of getting a deputy speaker.
Does the law require her to resign first before she's presented on the floor for the rest, or she can do it when she's having the two positions?
The law is silent on a deputy speaker vying to be a speaker. It only talks of a vice president or a minister who has to resign before being elected in the parliament. And since the law is silent, it means she doesn't have to resign. She can still be nominated in the parliament and voted for when she is still holding the position of deputy speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Shema South County Member of Parliament Elijah Dickens Musimeza has joined the race for those seeking to replace Jacob Balogna. Addressing the media this afternoon in Kampala, Musimeza, who is currently on an independent ticket in Parliament, says he is fit for the job. Take a look.
Honorable members, being a speaker, you should have experience.
This is Olanya's term. It must come to the end. It's not about its term.
Shema South County Legislator Professor Elijah Dickens Musimeza has joined the race for the speakership post in the 11th Parliament.
I'm expressing my interest to stand on the position of the Speaker for the 11th Parliament. The Clerked Parliament has issued a circular. It's called a notice that we shall have a special sitting of Parliament on Friday to elect a Speaker. And there is no provision of expressing interest. It is a day of election, it is a day of campaign.
Musimeza, just like others, feels he is the best man for the job.
I believe I have the capability, the skills, and the competencies to administer Parliament as a Speaker. I have experience in managing national institutions. I've been a member of Parliament before. I was a member of the Constituent Assembly.
Having worked once as the Deputy Chairperson, NRM Electoral Commission, Musimeza wants to carry similar expertise to the August House.
And in that position, I did a number of things that gave me more experience in running national institutions, in managing huge sums of money, public money, using it effectively, practicing transparency and justice. When I'm elected a Speaker of the 11th Parliament, there are principles I will promote. I will promote the principle of teamwork, the principle of fairness, the principle of justice, the principle of accountability.
Born on 26th February 1964, Musimeza, who holds a Bachelor of Arts and Doctorate of Philosophy from Makerere University, was among the members of the Constituent Assembly that debated, scrutinized, and enacted the 1995 Constitution of Uganda.
Very transparent, very articulate, on time, and knew the rules very well. We have missed a great man, and may his soul rest in eternal peace.
He also once served as a senior presidential advisor, a position equivalent to the cabinet minister. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
A Thanksgiving prayer of the late Speaker of Parliament Jacob Balogna is underway at his residence in Muyenga. The prayers are led by the Archbishop of the Anglican Church, Right Reverend Samuel Kazimba Mugalu. We have the highlights.
Jacob, I think tomorrow is going to be a big they had cordoned off the place where we used to hold the General Assembly, right behind the main building. So we had shifted to Freedom Square. And there was an anthill on which the speaker used to stand. That was his place for presiding over the assembly. So that morning somebody said, Mr. Speaker, they are digging the anthill. Indeed, workers from the university were busy digging the anthill. Then he said, it doesn't matter. I'll find some raised ground. So he went ahead. Unfortunately, the security forces who were deployed there were determined to stop any gathering. So they started random shooting, beating up everybody. Then they landed on the man with the red gown. And he tried to resist. I don't think anybody got the kind of physical beating Dickens got. On 10th December 1990, International Human Rights Day. I walked up. He was still walking. It's not true that he fainted.
All right, that is footage happening in Muyenge right now, a Thanksgiving prayer of the late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya. Now, the Chief Magistrate, Buganda Road Court, Douglas Singeza, has issued a warrant of arrest against a prominent novelist, Kakuenza Rukirabashaija, and criminal summons against his 3 sureties. This follows the absence of sureties in court when court resumed for the hearing of the case. Those who stood sureties for the accused Kakuenza include lawyer Julius Galisonga, David Louis Rubogoya, and NUP's General Secretary Ashaba Anna and Job Kija. However, the accused lawyer, Wanda Samuel Ronald, assured the court that the accused is still undergoing treatment within the country, alleging the torture which was inflicted on him during and after the arrest. Court indicted 11th of April 2022 to resume with the case. Kakuenza is facing charges of offensive communication, which he allegedly committed through his Twitter handle at Kakuenza Rukira. The said offences are said to disturb the person of the President and the Commander Land Forces General David Muhoozi Kainerugaba's peace.
So, but I also need to commend everybody since we started.
Yes, court has issued the warrant of arrest and then the criminal summons to all the sureties for them to appear in this court on the 11th of April. The role of sureties is to ensure that the accused person comes to court, and the event is not in position to come to court, then they should come and explain why he's not in position to come to court. So we believe in the event is not yet well, then the sureties will come and explain to court that he's still sick and that are going medical treatment. Our client is attending to medical treatment and in a private facility, which for security reasons we are not in position to mention, either to the media, and we also ensure that it goes on court record that we are not happy and ready to disclose his place right now where he's attending medical treatment, virtue that he was tortured, so it becomes easier for them to identify and then pick him out. Yes, we've been informed by court that one of the sureties, the lady, has written to them indicating that she wants to cease being a surety. That is information we are not aware of because she has not written to us, and neither were we copied in that letter, and neither has she communicated that to our client. We shall await for her to communicate that officially to our client, and if need be, and we need to provide a fourth surety, then we shall mobilize and have another surety replacing her on court record.
Condolence messages continue flowing the passing of the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Balogna, last week. The National Organization for Trade Unions Chairman General Asha Wilson is the latest to eulogize the Speaker Balogna as an instrumental leader with a soft spot for workers' welfare. Were particularly remembers the late Jacob Balogna for playing a pivotal role in amplifying the need for the famous National Social Security Fund, which was later passed on in a parliamentary session he chaired.
First of all, I want to send my condolences to His Excellency the President, the Parliament of Uganda, and all the family, to the family of the late Right Honorable Jacob Balogna, for as a fallen hero. And he has been an icon, and he has been a very, very understanding leader who was thinking so much about the country. For us workers, he was our hero. I remember in 2019, when he was Deputy Speaker, he chaired a meeting, he chaired a parliament session where minimum wage was passed. And though it was not ascended by the President, but it's on record that minimum wage 2019 was passed. Now, recently, when NSSF bill was passed in 2021, when the new parliament, 11th parliament came in, they disregarded most of the bills which were passed by the 10th parliament. But Honorable Balogna, in his own wisdom, when we had a meeting with him, he said, no, this bill for workers is very important. It's going to facilitate the livelihood of workers. So he decided that this bill be fast-tracked. And the bill was taken back to the House, and we started the fast-tracking the bill. He personally chaired the meeting, all the session where this bill was passed. And a person who was thinking how he can bring and bridge that gap between Parliament and the people. And he has done it several times. I remember one time when we were in a meeting in a Sheraton, I really provoked him because I wanted government to listen to us. And he gave me a very strong counsel. He said, Owere, I know you are fighting for the rights of workers, but you also must know that the government is there to do all what it wants. So we ended up agreeing, and that's when we came very, very closely. I understood him that somebody who wishes others well, and that is the basis of. And we also knew him from our colleague who is Honorable Wakajara. They were very, very close friends, and whatever, anything that was on the side of workers, he was very much inquisitive and ready to help.
Now, during his lifetime, the late Jacob Balogna was a renowned orator. Here are some of his famous quotes.
The process of selecting the Speaker and Deputy Speaker is over. It's all done. Like the President said, there were some issues that had gone beyond what should have been in a normal contest. I pledge not to hold a grudge with anybody, any member of Parliament. First of all, it's not my nature. I don't bear grudges. I will not victimize anybody for whatever has happened in the course of these discussions and processes of coming up with a Speaker. I am not a vindictive person. It's not my nature. That will never happen. But if you feel that you have gone beyond, you went beyond the lines and you need us to have a discussion and apologize to each other, you're welcome. We can come to the office, we sit and have a discussion, we laugh, and then that is it. We start a new life and move on. And to those who could have offended, in one way or the other, I apologize publicly. And I ask for your forgiveness. I could have done it myself without knowing, or some of the people who are working with me could have done it in my name or on my behalf. I apologize for all those, and I ask for your forgiveness. If there are issues you think we should talk more about, come and we talk. This country belongs to all of us. The people sent us here collectively to focus on two things: defending the national interest and perfecting service delivery systems to them. And as the President said, the main point for these 5 years is socio-economic transformation. We are part and parcel of this, and we should do our best to deserve the respect the people gave us to become members of Parliament.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay, or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using FlexiPay, dial *185#. Select option 6 School Fees. Select option 3 FlexiPay. Enter the school code. Enter the student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
My name is Isabella Birungi Byarugaba, and I'm the co-founder for City Ambulance and City Medicals. The main activity we are doing for Total Energies is provision of medical support, ambulance services, occupational health assessment services for all contractors going to the camps or on any of their sites. We also do COVID testing. We have experienced a lot of growth, exposure and networking, the ability to meet different clients who are working in these fields, but also giving us the ability to diversify our scope in regard to the service that is offered and reinvent the kind of service that we offer. Working with Total Energies requires a company that has the high level of health and safety standard, which really was a good value add to us.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. And now into business. Over 4,000 NSSF members have so far received their mid-term payment totaling to 78.8 billion shillings. According to the fund, about 14,700 claims have been received to date.
The National Social Security Fund has paid a total amount of 78.8 billion shillings since the commencement of mid-term payments on the 17th of March this year. This has been disclosed by the fund's top management, led by the Managing Director, Richard Byarugaba.
Many of the people who have applied, surprisingly, have a lot of big balances, especially those who apply online. The people who apply manually tend to be smaller balances. And the divide between men and women still remains the same. It's about 60 65% male and 35% female, which is basically what mirrors even our database.
By March 7th to 22nd of 2022, a total of 14,690 claims had been received from the contributors. The Uganda shillings 78.8 billion is approximately 30% of monies disbursed to the eligible contributors who had applied.
Now some applied because the data we are sharing with you is of the end of the day yesterday. In the 14,000, some applied yesterday, some applied the day before. They're not going to be paid right now. But the fact that you can pay 30% of your payment within 9 working days, when really the regulations allows you to take 45 days, is by itself an amazing story.
NSSF is committed to pay 50 billion shillings weekly and complete all the payments as per the stipulated time frame of 45 working days.
But when you still look at the statistics, people who are getting 4,400, most of the bulk of those people are your people who have got small balances. They've got less than 10 million shillings, 15 million shillings, they're getting 3 million shillings and so on. And this is where you're going to see a lot of them going through. But because their balances are smaller, they are bigger in terms of what we do, in terms of offering the service. So,
as per the amended law, NSSF contributors can access up to 20% of their contributions before the mandatory 55 years. The fund currently manages assets worth over 15.5 trillion shillings, invested in fixed income, equities and real estate assets within the East African region. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Uganda has set out to market herself as Africa's innovation powerhouse at the ongoing Dubai Expo 2020 Innovation Week. The innovation themes on display span from health, future economy, utilizing data and technology for good. The Ugandan delegation at the expo is being led by the state ministers for ICT and national guidance, Kabyanga Godfrey Baluku and Joyce Nabosa Sebugwawo. Samuel Senano is in Dubai and now reports.
It is a fact world over that creativity and innovation are birds of a feather when it comes to industrialization, and our governments know this too well. At the Dubai Expo 2020, numerous technological discoveries are on display. Uganda has sent a team of 5 innovators, and the country plans to position herself as Africa's innovation powerhouse.
This week is very, very important for us because they call it the Innovation Week. And ICT and National Guidance has been running several innovations, mainly in the field of information and communication technology. And we have financed several youths who have come up with several innovations.
Yeah, with that we hope that at the end of this week, or at the end of the expo, which has run for 6 months from 1st October till 31st March, we are going to attract potential investment in infrastructure scale-up. We already have a potential investor who is going to support us on setting up a data center because we need to improve our infrastructure, we need to improve our skill sets, we need to improve employment, we need to also invest in research and development to grow our country.
On their part, the innovators are optimistic that this showcase at the Dubai Expo 2020 will open up their startups to more opportunities.
Also a lot of startups coming in to start doing cosmetics. We've had a bit of success in Tanzania and Kenya, for instance. Also the diaspora communities of Uganda in South Africa and the US are using our shea butter to make cosmetics. So we hope we have a good chance to make it happen.
So the people that we've interacted with so far, the reception is good. We hope that the contacts that we've gotten can yield a lot of potential towards implementing this innovation in their countries.
And we thank the government to have been in position to organize such a thing. We interact with different people in different levels, the investors, the tourists. They actually go beyond even our technology and ask about our country.
Earlier, the Ugandan delegation met with MasterCard Foundation, a global financial services leader.
So that is a conversation we have had this morning with MasterCard to identify areas of potential collaboration that will help us have a system that is working cashless from end to end and being able to understand and plan for our people based on the data, massive data that is accumulated through the analyzing the transactions that are done online.
This expo, which has been running for 6 months, climaxes this month on the 31st of March. Samuel Senono, UBC News, at the expo site in the United Arab Emirates.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial star 165 star 5 star 3 hash to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
And into sports, the second edition of the NCBA Bank 2022 Serena Junior Championship has been launched. It will be a contest for kids between 6 to 18 years with a chance to represent Uganda at international golf tournaments. Take a look.
NCBA Bank has bankrolled the 2022 Serena Junior Golf Championship to a tune of 40 million Uganda shillings.
We have had the privilege of sponsoring the first tournament that was held in August 2019, and this saw a number of junior players participate, a testament to the great popularity of golf among kids in East Africa. This year we believe it will be bigger and better, and we are honored to support such a high caliber event for so many young talented people. We would like to thank our partners, Serena Chigo, the US Kids Golf, for always choosing us as the main sponsor, and we pledge to continue this journey to achieve the goal of uplifting the game of golf among the young generation.
Uganda Golf Union President Moses Maseko is optimistic this maintains a project that is deemed necessary for the future of the sport.
The game of golf in Uganda and elsewhere is the future of it is in the juniors. So this event means a lot to, first of all, the golfing fraternity in Uganda. Secondly, to the juniors who have been under lockdown for the last 2.5 years. Events like this give them hope.
The 3-day event will start with a practice session on 15th April, with the action set for 16th and 17th April, with over 70 kids, some from South Africa expected.
These tournaments are set up through international standards, and we are happy that Coach Emmanuel Cascio will be here with other US Kids Golf affiliated officials to monitor and assess the event in order for us to give all the juniors opportunity to participate in global events.
The championship will be achieved in partnership with US Kids Golf, with optimism already high among participants.
And I thank God that I'm able to play the game of golf as a child, like no child gets the opportunity to do that.
Excellency at this championship will honor the top 4 winners a fully sponsored golf tour at the Fan Court Golf Estate in South Africa. After several East Africa regional qualifiers, the ultimate prize will be a slot on Uganda's junior team to play at the Venice Open in Italy in August 2022. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Brought to you by.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this lovely evening. Do enjoy much more of UBC's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. We wish you a good night.